Hey folks, how's it going? I'm doing all right, and I hope you all have been doing great. I hope that you all have been enjoying some of my videos that I've been uploading, including the places to go, people to meet, as I go on little excursions to different little places and take you all along for the trip. As you can see, things have changed quite drastically for me because my natural curls are back out. I have like a three day old twist out going on here, which I am pleased with. I've got quite a bit of shine going on here, quite a bit of definition, and but I'm actually really happy to have my natural hair out. Anyway, I am going to go ahead and get started talking about, actually someone had asked me to expound on my exercise video, and I thought I would incorporate it in another video about love. So let's go ahead and get started talking about love and the fact that it is intentional. So yes, okay. Love is intentional. We have solidified the fact that it is not an emotion. It's definitely not something magical that just happens to us. It is not something that we all the time magically want to exercise towards someone. Sometimes it even takes an effort to exercise it towards ourselves, especially if it's something that we are not naturally inclined to want to do. Sometimes we are not inclined to love ourselves in certain areas, and we are not naturally inclined to love certain things about other people. That's something that we have to work on, and that's something that we have to be open to because everyone is different. Not everyone is like us. Not everyone has our perspective. And not everyone feels or experiences life the way that we do. So love is intentional. And, it has to be. So as far as I'm going to go ahead and start with exercise, because that's what I wanted to expound on. And the question pretty much was, how do you incorporate exercise in your day? How do you make it work? Well, first of all, exercise has to be a priority. It has to be intentional, because exercise is loving yourself, loving your body. It has to be a priority and has to be intentional. It has to be a lifestyle. So first of all, it's something that you have to be realistic to yourself about, as far as knowing that it's not going to be easy. It's going to be something where some days you are not going to want to do it. So it has to be a part of a schedule. It has to be incorporated in your day-to-day activities. It has to be something as hard as or difficult as maybe for some people to get out of bed. For some people, you might have to set an alarm to it. You might have to give yourself rewards for it. Exercise for, some people can be very easy to do because they are inclined to want to do it. And for others, because of maybe schedules, children, or their business, whatever it may be, it's very difficult. But it has to be intentional. It has to be a priority. It has to be a priority. It goes into the category of you loving yourself first before you can love the ones around you. That's the category that exercise has to fall into. Because if it does not fall into it, you're gonna fall to the wayside about it. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm going to be transparent and realistic. It's difficult for me to do. But I try. What I do for myself is I make a plan. And for me, if I exercise in a week, 3 times in a week, I've met my goal doing some sort of activity. It doesn't necessarily have to be the gym all the time. If you are planning to perhaps do something with someone that really doesn't involve you putting on your gym apparel or your exercise apparel, then make something out of, like, if you're parked somewhere, don't use the elevator, use the stairs maybe run up or run down the stairs just to get your heart going. Intentionally choose to get some sort of activity in your day. Recently for me, an exercise was biking slow roll, and it was so many miles. I cannot remember for sure how many miles in Detroit. And it took an hour and a half to do it, but I was happy about myself because I know that even though it wasn't like a fast-paced thing, I know still that I was burning calories that I would have not burned if I had not done it. So yes, it has to be something you're thinking about every day, and it has to be intentional, and it has to be a priority over something else that may be important, but isn't as important as you keeping yourself healthy. It may cause you to say no to someone. It may cause you to not do something or erase something else that you would have liked to do. Yeah, that's the one and only thing that I can say. It takes effort. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not going to take effort. And that goes with everyone. You can't, that's why you have commercials on TV when they're advertising the weight loss supplements and products or whatnot. They always include exercise. You cannot get out of exercise. You cannot get out of changing the lifestyle. The message, maybe that the subliminal message all the time, but the message in the commercials, listen for it, with a lifestyle of eating right and exercise, this product will work for you. You have to exercise, you have to change your lifestyle. With intentional love, I've pretty much said it's a choice. Love is a choice that you make on a day-to-day basis. Every day, choosing to love, you have choices and you choose, because we are creatures of free will to make our own choices. We have to choose. God, our Father, is not going to choose for us. He gives us choices. We're faced with choices every day. And in his heart, he's hoping that we choose love, but we have to make that decision for ourselves. It goes with a love relationship as well. Like, say, for instance, a person has maybe a long distance, I'll make it dramatic, long distance relationship with someone. You are intentionally choosing to make an effort with that person. That's why, yes, long distance relationships can work, but it takes intentional dedication. It takes work. And when those relationships do work, sometimes they are some of the strongest because those people have made that person a priority in their life. They have decided that this person is worth the wait, is worth the sacrifice. That's what love is. Sacrifice is part of love. Sacrificing something that you may not necessarily want in order to achieve something fantastic, something awesome, in order to achieve a blessing, in order to achieve a great outcome. you know when an individual has chosen to show you love, especially if you know that person and you know that what they're choosing isn't necessarily their first desire to do. They are choosing your well-being, your peace of mind over what they desire. That's showing love. That's sacrifice. Love isn't always compromise. It's a wonderful thing to see it in a relationship, but it's not always compromise. At some point in time, each party is given the responsibility to choose love. And sometimes the choice of love is sacrifice. Jesus coming to earth as a baby, that was intentional. That was a choice. That was sacrifice. It was intentional. It was a decision that God made because He wanted us. He felt that we were worthy of it. So I guess the question that we have to ask ourselves when we are choosing love for ourselves, we have to ask ourselves the same question. How bad do we want it? Do we feel that we are worthy of it? I think that the answer is yes. It's always yes. We're always worth it, even though we fall short. We should always want it. It's hard sometimes, but we're always worth it. If we're worth enough for a God to come down and be a man, become part of humanity, and die for us, our sins, then we're always worth it. With every breath that we take, with every breath that's given to us, we're given a new day. We're given the opportunity to change our minds, to start over again. We're given the freedom to make a choice. And it's a wonderful thing. Lifestyle takes change. And when I mean change, I'm not saying changing your personality or changing who you are in Christ. I'm saying growth, changing for the better, becoming the best version of yourself. Because if we're not growing, we're dying. If we're not choosing change, we're dying. It's sort of like when we have a challenge or we have a goal that we're trying to reach, and we reach that goal. The human spirit desires to set another goal and to complete that goal. That's health, that's growth, and that's how it is in life. A lot of us, it's really scary. We get really set in our ways, and that's what makes what we want seem very hard to acquire, because we are set in habit. We are set in routine. We are comfortable with our lifestyle because we sort of know what we can expect. We have a certain control there. And it's really hard not to have control. It's hard to go into the dark forest when you don't see what's out there. Technically, the forest is still the same in the night when you can't see as it is during the day. But because we cannot see at night, we're more afraid of entering it. We have to be intentional about love. We have to be intentional about lifestyle. And then we have to be consistent about it. We have to intentionally form habit. The Christian lifestyle. The Christian lifestyle is supposed to be an intentional action, day by day, hour by hour, to replicate the example that Jesus has set before us. Do we always meet that? No, of course not. We don't. It's a lifestyle. It's an intentional living to love. You have to be intentional. That's why dating and relationships, I believe, should be intentional. It's a lot more gratifying. You grow more when you're dating intentionally, because you are intentionally dating that person for marriage. You're not dating them for fun. You're not dating them to use them. You are intentionally learning from that person. That person's learning from you, and you're both trying to evaluate, is this the person that I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with? Intentional. My Instagram post reads, and this sums everything up under one quote, and that is: an intentional, thought-provoked action that considers the wholesome well-being of self and others. So I really hope that you all have enjoyed this video. I hope that you have been inspired. It always inspires me and encourages me to speak on the topic of love and royalty, and to also share my thoughts with you all. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and feel free to follow me on Facebook at Regina Ryder, facebook.com/Regina Ryder, as well as Instagram, Queenly Gina. And as always, remember, love and royalty.
It's the only way to be, 'cause when we love me, we can finally be free to love you, to make dreams come true. We gotta start with our deep breath. I get so free, the tears from your eyes. Love me. It's the only way to be.